guys, and welcome to my kitchen. I got a lot going on in here today. I am canning, putting up food for long-term storage. Today I'm going to be canning some ground beef. So here we have a completion of the ground beef. Stick around. I'll show you how I saved over $1,000 by canning my own. For $1.97 a pound, I got, this is nearly 10 pounds of ground beef. We have our ground beef in our pot. I got a rather large pot here, guys, so I can cook up quite a bit at one time. I'm going to add a little seasoning in here. I'm going to add in some onion. I've got lots of onion here I chopped up. I'm going to mix in a little garlic powder. I want this ground beef to be seasoned really well. So this is a teaspoon. Just, you know, you don't want to over season, because if the food is going to be sitting and the flavors are going to get stronger and stronger the longer they sit. So I love smoked paprika, so I'm going to put a couple of little teaspoons of smoked paprika in there. And I'm going to also add a couple of spoons of, this is kosher salt. And I'm going to also use beef bouillon that I've got made. So we're just gonna stir this around. I'm not gonna cook it all the way done, but it's gonna be basically done, you know. You'll see a little pink in it, but that's okay, because it will finish cooking in the jars. You know, the temperature goes up to at least 240 degrees. So it's going to continue cooking in there. So I believe this is about 80-20, the meat percentage in here. So we're going to go ahead and get this right here. I don't know if you can see it over here. I'll show it to you in a little bit. I have my canner. It's on low. The water needs to be hot because we're using hot food. My jars are in the oven at 225 degrees. And they are warming up. I have my lids over here in some warm water. I'm not boiling them or anything, just to loosen up the rims and everything on there. So I'm just, oh, that smells so good. So we're just gonna keep stirring and let this cook. It'll be done in a few minutes. Like I said, I don't want to cook it all the way done, but I want it to be nice and brown, maybe a few little red spots in here, but I don't want a lot of red. Oh my goodness, it really smells good in here. So guys, I think I browned it good enough. I just basically wanted to brown it. I browned it good enough. Now I'm going to take it off and start filling my jars. It will continue to cook, like I said, in the pressure canner once we, you know, get that going, okay? So. Okay guys, so I've taken my jars out of the oven, so they're nice and hot. And I've got my ground beef here. And I've changed spoons. I'm using one with the holes in it so that I don't pick up a lot of the oil. So we're going to now take our ground beef and we're just gonna start putting it in our jars. We're gonna leave 1 inch head space. Kind of doing this to get as much of the oil off as I can. So you're just gonna continue filling it. I'm using wide mouth pint-sized jars. And think I'm probably going to wind up using all 3 packages because I can make tacos with this. I can make enchiladas. We can make all kinds of really good meals, and we really enjoy tacos here. I can even make taco soup with this. Putting in about 1 inch space. If I have to come back, I'll come back. It smells wonderful, guys. I'm ready to eat it now. I am ready to eat it now. My canner is on the stove. I just got it warming. I put about 3 quarts of water in it. That's what you need to put into the Presto canner that I have. You put in 3 quarts of water. So we've got that going. It's really easy, guys. The process is just like a step and repeat. That's the way I look at it. Step and repeat. You know, you do the same thing each time. And this is going to be really delicious with the onion and the seasonings that I put in here. Now I canned some before. Last year, I didn't put any onion or anything in those. So this time around, I thought I'd just add me in some good old onion. Ground beef, when they're using liquids, they will cover it with water, or you can cover it with a broth. So I just used the regular little broth, real inexpensive ones, and added water and made some broth. But that'll keep it flavored really nicely. So I'm going to finish this, guys, and then we'll come back with our next step, okay? I'm using the spoon with the holes in it, slotted, I don't know what they call it, but toward the end, you know, there's a lot of juice. So what I'm going to do is I use another spoon, big spoon, and press it, okay? To make sure that I get as much of the oil out as I can. You know, some oil is going to be okay. Just going to add to the flavor, but I don't want too much in there. So now we're going to add in our hot broth, and we're going to fill it all the way up to the 1 inch mark, the same as your meat. In the meantime, I'm cooking some more over there. You know, I had to do it in a couple of batches, but I'm going to be doing it in several batches because I've got 2 more of those large rolls. Now, my next step is I'm going to use my debubbler. What I'm going to do now is just go around the jars and make sure to get all the bubbles out. Just go around the outside, and I poke a little bit in the center also. Once you start doing this, it really opens up space. And I don't want it to be packed tight because I want this to be open so that when it's processing, when it's in the canner, it can cook in the center and all around. A lot of people will pack and press down a lot, and you know, you just want to make sure that your food is going to cook all the way through evenly. Center, and in the center, you know, if you pack it down, then it may not cook thoroughly or really good in the center. So get all these bubbles out. This is kind of therapeutic. It is for me. Knowing that I'm putting food aside and storing food for my family. Meat is going up, up, up in prices, guys. Take a look. Buy it now while you can. Very next step that we're going to do is we're going to go around the rim of our jars to make sure that we clean them thoroughly because of all the oils and the grease here. We want to make sure we clean them really well with vinegar. You can use water or you can use vinegar. Otherwise the lids won't stick, won't get a good seal. When you're doing this also, just kind of check, feel for any cuts or anything in your glass. I want to make sure, so I'm going to go over it one more time, because I want to make sure that my food is sealed properly. So, okay, I have my lids and soaking in some warm water. You don't have to boil them and all of that. You can just soak them in nice warm water to make sure that, you know, you loosen up, my attempt is to loosen up the rims around here. So we're going to just take those and put them on top of here. I checked them before I put them in. I actually found one that had a little bit of a tear to it. So sometimes they stick together, guys. What I can do is take them apart when that happens. Put that back in there to put that on. See, that one got inside. Pay attention to what you're doing, you know, because that would have not sealed properly. Okay, gonna get all these on there. A couple of times I put 2 of them on at one time. Put our bands on, and we're gonna put our bands on fingertip tight, and that just means just like that, just tighten up. They don't have to be really tight. If you put them too tight, the lids will buckle under all of the what's going on. So, okay, so what we're going to do next is put these, I'm going to finish this and then, oh, they're hot. I'm going to finish these and then I'm going to put them in the canner. So I was able to get 7 jars, 7-pint wide mouth jars in the bottom of the container. And I have 4 more that are going to go on top. So we've got 11 pints out of 1 10-pound roll of hamburger. You want to make sure that you can see light through your vent, because you want to make sure that it's not obstructed. You want to make sure that your little doubler here is going up and down easily. Check your black doubler. The inside, I make sure that I put a little olive oil on so that it'll go on easy and come off easy. And then there's a V on here that you can easily connect it to get your lid on. Okay, now I got that on, I've got it centered, and I'm going to close it. It is closed now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to crank it up, because for my elevation, I want to get 10 pounds. 10 pounds on my weight, on my weighted gauge. So we want to get our temperature on the inside at the right temperature, and we'll know that once this starts venting. Once it starts venting, then we'll count for 10 minutes. We'll let it vent a steady stream, a steady stream. After 10 minutes, then you can put your weighted gauge on. This is my weighted gauge for it, and so I'll show you that when we get to it. So we got 11 pints out of that. That's a good deal. I'm satisfied with that. I think that's real good. We got 11 pints, and we can get a lot of good meals out of that. So I have 2 more in there. So if I get, if I use all of them, which I plan to do, then I'll have 33 pints of the ground beef. As you can see, it is going steady. And I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. And that's when we'll start the actual canning process. Okay? So we're going to let it go for 10 minutes. I hope you can see the steam there. Timer went off. It went off. And I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm going to put my weight on here, and I'm just going to put it on top of here. Okay, and then now we're going to monitor that and watch it go to, we want to get it at 10, okay? And I like to hold it at 10. Now these are pint size jars, so therefore we're going to pressure cook them for 75 minutes between 10 and 11. I can't let the gauge go down. If the gauge goes backwards, then we've got a problem. You have to start all over from the beginning. We're gonna let it go up to 10, and then we're gonna start monitoring it, keeping an eye on it. So we're gonna let it go. I did 16 jars this time. Yum, yum. Smells good. These I'm gonna let sit here overnight. Have one more batch to do. And this is from the 3 rolls of taking out the second. I let it cool down really nicely, guys. I make sure that I let it cool down thoroughly before I take my jars out. And then bring it over here. Here we go. So our final product is, we got 33 pints out of 3 10-pound tubes of ground beef. Now guys, if I had purchased this amount of ground beef off of the internet, I would have paid $1,134. But instead, I paid $60 for the ground beef, about $20 a packet. Yes, I did add broth, add in my time, my labor, my jars. I still got over $1,000 worth of ground beef the easy way, by canning it myself. So guys, can it yourself. You'll be happy, you'll be thankful, you'll be blessed, and I will see you in the next video.